the King has left hospital following a 3-night stay for prostate surgery. The monarch waved to the public as he left the London clinic, accompanied by Queen Camilla. It came just hours after the Princess of Wales left the same hospital.
Joining us now to tell us more is host of the To Die For daily podcast, Kinsey Schofield. Kinsey, good morning. Wow, they're both out. The King put up a bit of a show, I think. You know, came out, really wanted to make it very clear to everyone. I'm well, I'm happy, I'm healthy.
And Rosie, I was just thinking about the last month I've spent with you on this program and the chaos over the last 30 days. We started the month with the Jeffrey Epstein scandal and the names on the list. Then we received this horrific news that the Princess of Wales and the King are both, one had already had surgery. The King was going to have surgery. Then we get the news about Fergie. I don't know the last time we've had such a chaotic month in royal history, but it was so nice to see King Charles and Queen Camilla waving to well-wishers. You're absolutely right. He wanted everyone to know he's happy, he's healthy, and he's in good shape. And I think that everybody's very confident in knowing that. However, like I said previously in the tease, unfortunately, we didn't get to see Princess Catherine. She is not expected to make any sort of appearances until Easter. And, we're so happy to know she's back home with her babies, because I'm sure that was a huge void in their household, but no sighting of Princess Kate.
To what extent is this big news over in the States? Because when I last visited the US, all anyone wanted to talk about was the Queen and Lady Di. What extent is this fairly major surgery that Kate's gone through? How has that impacted in America?
Well, she is the #1 royal here in the States. I believe it was a poll by the Daily Mail in December that said, we realized that she is the most popular member of the royal family. She's more popular than the King. She's more popular than the Queen. So Americans are concerned. They were certainly concerned when the news came out, and they just adore her. I think that they, admire her grace, her strength, and her beauty. And of course, we want her to be happy and healthy. And of course, we want to know that she's at home with her baby, safe and sound. And thankfully, that's the word we got yesterday.
And in the meantime, now it is, of course, the Queen Camilla, who is stepping up and taking on all these royal engagements. And, the Times newspaper this morning was remarking that, a decade ago, that would have been pretty unthinkable, really.
Right, I agree. The evolution that we've seen over the last few years, they were so concerned when they got married, the King and Queen, that they promised us she was only going to be known as Princess Consort. And it was the Queen, that came out during her Platinum Jubilee and said, it would mean a lot to me if you would refer to her as the Queen too, and Queen Consort. So we have seen such an evolution with Camilla, and, she has stepped up with books. She's doing this new book podcast, domestic violence. She's taken on some really unique causes that no one else had touched yet. And she's made a name for herself there. And she's a very likable character with a quick wit who I think keeps the King calm and sane sometimes throughout the chaos.
Queen Consort I can cope with. I'm not quite sure about calling her the Queen yet. Kinsey, you're used to having elderly leaders in the United States. Obviously, the King is now 75. He went public, which was very unusual, about his prostate condition. Has that been a subject of conversation in the United States?
Yeah, I would say it has been. Obviously, when it comes to our news cycle, we are obsessed with what's happening with former President Trump. What has Joe Biden said today that probably wasn't supposed to come out of his mouth? The King's prostate surgery I think it had a much bigger effect in your neck of the woods, but it certainly is something that Americans have admired, that honesty, being so open about it, and really the transparency, which there is a complete lack of here in with American leadership.
There's a real contrast, isn't there, in how the King has handled his medical condition and the sort of public messaging, very exposing, wanting to kind of raise awareness, particularly in men, about checking their prostate, enlarged prostate, the impact of that. And the NHS here has reported, really incredible booms in the number of people looking and getting research, and I think the King was quite keen to do that. When it comes to the Princess of Wales, we're hearing very kind of cautious and carefully worded statements, and the message from the family is right now this should be a time of privacy where they can just, as much as possible for members of a royal family, to be that, just a family.
And I wonder how much of the king being so open has to do with wanting to protect the Princess of Wales, and not to blatantly utilize the word diversion, but it certainly helps because we're talking about that 11% increase that the NHS saw in searches for prostate exams and prostate concerns. So what I would say is this has been a really difficult time as a royal commentator because I do want to respect her privacy. And I've had to say it during so many interviews, I refuse to speculate because I think that it's the least we can do for her. She gave up a private life. She was a normal girl like you and I, and she gave that up to become the Princess of Wales. And I don't think that her privacy in this particular case and her health is something that she should have to sacrifice. I don't think that she owes us that.
Kinsey, thank you so much, Kinsey Schofield. Appreciate your time as ever. The statement from Kensington Palace that was released yesterday said the Princess of Wales has returned home to Windsor to continue her recovery from surgery. She's making good progress. It says the Prince and the Princess wish to say a huge thank you to the entire team at the London Clinic, especially the dedicated nursing staff for all the care they've provided. We also know that the Prince of Wales is not going to return to royal duties until the Princess of Wales has recovered sufficiently.
He wants to look after his missus.
He does, and therefore in comes Queen Camilla, taking up a lot of the royal duties in the meantime.